diplomatic relations back in 1992 and over more than 3 decades have built a solid institutional foundation, including over 60 bilateral agreements and a functioning intergovernmental commission. Political dialogue has remained consistent, but the key question now is how both countries can translate this political momentum into concrete economic results. And while bilateral trade has shown growth in recent years, its overall volume remains modest compared to the potential both countries possess. That is why this visit is widely seen as an opportunity to move beyond political declarations and toward practical outcomes. President of Mongolia's visit could mark a new stage in bilateral relations, both sides aiming to increase trade to $500 million. The focus now is likely to be on expanding the range of traded goods, improving connectivity and removing barriers, while building sustainable logistics routes that can turn cooperation from selective projects into a more systemic and long-term partnership. So today we are expecting the President of Mongolia to visit residence of President of Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. Let me also remind that now we are expecting the cortege of the Mongolian president who will pay the visit these days, and both leaders will also take part at the business forum dedicated to increase the trade turnover between the two states. Let me remind you that last year in 2025, the trade turnover has reached $130 million between the two states, but the countries aim to increase it by $500 million. And after these negotiations, we will see how countries will exactly do that, through which projects and through which initiatives. Let me remind you that Kassym-Jomart Tokayev paid a visit to Mongolia back in October 2024 that marked intensifying the cooperation between the two states. Also last year we have had the Silkway Star project that has also expanded the cooperation in cultural sphere, giving momentum to the Mongolian singer Michelle Joseph. And let me remind you that now we can see the Mongolian president inside of the presidential cortege reaching the territory of the president of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. The two leaders will take part at the business forum these days and possibly at the regional ecological summit that will take place in Kazakhstan's capital Astana on April 23rd. To give a bit of context of Kazakh-Mongolian relations, let me also remind that the two leaders are landlocked and have similar geography, having two big powers alongside. And now we can see the Mongolian president is reaching the residence of President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. It is expected that the two leaders will have bilateral talks as well as with their ministers. Here he is, the president of Mongolia, Ukhnagiin Khurelsu, who has reached the residence of President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, on April 21st. The trade turnover between the two countries reached $130 million back in 2025, and now the two countries will have a new target to reach $500 million in the coming years. So the visit comes at a significant moment in Kazakhstan-Mongolia relations. A stable political dialogue has taken shape between Astana and Ulaanbaatar, gaining strong momentum following President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev's visit to Mongolia in October 2024. That visit marked an important milestone with the signing of a declaration on strategic partnership, 11 bilateral agreements, and a roadmap aimed at advancing trade and economic cooperation over the next 2 years. And now we can see that Mongolian president in turn paying visit to Kazakh counterpart. We can see that two leaders are walking side by side, welcoming the delegation between the two states. This delegation will take part also in bilateral in expanded formats as well.
Алдан қарсы алу үшін раунд
This is Silkwood TV channel, keep broadcasting from welcoming ceremony of the President of Mongolia, Ugyen Khurelsukh, is paying a state visit to Kazakhstan these days. So as the two leaders went for bilateral talks, let me remind you that the trade between Kazakhstan and Mongolia has been moving upward in 2024 through 2026, not through dramatic expansion, but through steady and consistent growth. Last year, bilateral trade surpassed $130 million, with Kazakh exports making up nearly the entire volume of mutual trade. At the same time, the structure of trade is diversifying alongside traditional exports such as tobacco products and bread. Kazakhstan has expanded supplies to Mongolia to include pharmaceuticals, plastic packaging and pasta. On the import side, Kazakhstan continues to bring in mostly textiles from Ulaanbaatar, while meat accounts for more than 90% of imports. Against this backdrop, both sides have set a more ambitious target to raise bilateral trade to $500 million. The high-level talks are expected to open a new chapter in bilateral relations, says political expert Baujan Auken of Kazakhstan Institute for Strategic Studies.
Одним из основных вопросов
One of the key items on the agenda of upcoming meetings between our heads of state will be optimization of transport and logistics cooperation between Kazakhstan and Mongolia. This will undoubtedly provide a strong boost to further development and help reach the target of $500 million in bilateral trade. Kazakhstan also holds a significant potential not only in exporting goods, but in expanding its presence in services, particularly in the field of IT.
An important factor strengthening bilateral relations is the human dimension as well. A sizable Kazakh diaspora in Mongolia serves as a natural bridge between the two countries, with ties built through everyday life, culture and language, creating a level of trust often deeper than formal agreements. This cultural closeness is also reflected in modern initiatives.
Silkway Star жобасының жеңімпазы Mongolia Michelle Joseph!
Wow! Michelle Joseph, Mongolia!
The victory of Mongolian singer Michelle Joseph in the Silkway Star project in Kazakhstan became a symbol of cultural unity. She was awarded Kazakhstan's Order of Dostik of the second degree for strengthening friendship between peoples, and also received Mongolia's Order of the Polar Star from President of Mongolia. As a final note, it is unfortunate to announce that this is my final live broadcast for this program. It has been a true privilege to serve you. Thank you for watching Silkway TV channel. Stay tuned and see you again.